Freedom to me is the ability to make key connections wherever I go and whichever industry I want to start a business in.
Being in person helps you accelerate way faster and helps you build greater authority and credibility.
The thing that most founders get wrong about building an online business is that they also have to build their connections online. Actually, what I see that the most successful online founders do, they double down on in-person connections.
I can give you my scenario and let's build it. I think that's super fun. So I help people become more visible, present, and monetize their offers.
And I think that's a good place to start because then you have a common goal for a niche group of people. And those are often the strongest and most lasting community.
Welcome to the Freedom Office podcast. My name is Sofia Kakava, and I welcome you to another episode where we're going to be talking all about building a life of freedom through connection. The Freedom Office podcast is your place to be for learning how you can build a life that feels truly yours, truly aligned, whether it is building your online business, traveling the world, and being totally free. Today, I have a very special guest, Marcel Wijermars, who is going to be talking to us about building communities, and he is the founder of Amsterdam Founders Club, an amazing community that I had the chance to also personally experience in the Netherlands. And we're going to learn everything about building communities, attracting opportunities, clients through speaking and connection. So Marcel, the mic is yours.
So happy to be here in this fanciest podcasting studio in Bali.
I know, it's great, right?
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, my pleasure. Would you like to share a little bit more about who you are and what you're going to be sharing with me today?
Sure. So I help founders to get opportunities like clients, speaking gigs, the opportunities that they know they deserve through the right connections, through building their network. And it came from a place of many years ago, I was often overlooked for like the opportunities that I often wanted to have access to. And I started to learn how to actually intentionally build my network and the connections that gave me access to those opportunities that I wanted to have. And I have built businesses based on that. The Amsterdam Founders Club is based on what I learned about making connections and building communities. And now I'm in a place where I'd also love to share this knowledge with other founders who want to build their network.
Beautiful. Thank you. I always find it super beautiful when someone manages to reach a certain level of knowledge, of visibility, of growth, of success, and they're willing to share the secrets. So I'm so excited to ask you all these questions and give as much value as possible to our audience. So I love starting this conversation with asking you about freedom and what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom to me is being able to go to a new place, to move to a new city, and know that I can make the connections that will A, grow my business, and B, be part of a social life as well, like build my local network. So freedom is not just about money or ability to travel anywhere, because it's quite meaningless to go to a new place and live in isolation. So freedom to me is the ability to make key connections wherever I go and whichever industry I want to start a business in.
Wow, that's so powerful. And what drove you to create your community, the Amsterdam Founders Club?
This was actually started in Bali, interestingly enough. About 3 years ago, I was in Bali and I wanted to connect with some other entrepreneurs. But all of the events, they were like all over the place and they were free or very cheap events. So I was like, it's not really worth my time. I'm not really meeting the people that I want to be connected with. And that's why I started to host intentional founders dinners here in Bali, just to find my people. And they became a popular weekly occurrence here in Bali, in Canggu actually, this was. And yeah, at some point I moved back from Bali to the Netherlands. And as I lived in Amsterdam, I also wanted to have those connections and those events there. it was a desire to have those connections and those events that I wanted to be invited to.
Wow. I didn't know. You see, always learning. Actually, we have met in person in an event of another person in Amsterdam. That was about 2.5 years ago, where I saw you for the first time. We had a little chat. We told me about your community, but then I was traveling and also you were traveling. And then a few months ago, I met one of my friends from Costa Rica, and I connected with one founder that runs retreats and said, oh, I have this event coming up, which I attended, his gala. And then when I attended the event, I recognized how many people from your community are part of that event. Everyone that I would shake hands, I would be like, oh, how did you find out about this event? I would say, oh, I met this person in person. And there would be, I'm from Amsterdam Founders Club. So maybe you haven't even realized, but this has been building up. And then I reconnected with you and we saw that, okay, actually, I'm coming in Bali, you're in Bali, let's have this chat. You mentioned something really powerful. You said, when you came to Bali 3 years ago, you saw that there were events that they were not aligned all over the place and events that they were really cheap. I love to hear that because I'm a person who values paying for something if you want to get into a certain circle. So what do you think about pricing certain communities, having a price tag, and how should someone treat tickets or entering a space and paying for it?
Right. So the price point itself to access an event or a community, it acts as a filter. So you get founders who are serious about the return that they get on their time that they invest in going to somewhere. So even if you change nothing about an event, but only you start charging money, the quality of the people that you meet usually increases. So I'm a big fan of charging ticket prices for events and then reinvesting that in the experience to make it better every time.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And you mentioned that you came here 3 years ago. Now the community grows, but how was it in the beginning? And did you experience any challenges that led you to create something like that?
In the beginning of building the community?
Yes, in the beginning of your travel days or traveling around the world or being in different places.
Oh, so when I actually started to be a digital nomad, yeah, I didn't have true freedom in the sense that I could make those connections and I would be tied to, okay, whatever is on Meetup, I would go there, but I would really miss a sense of connection and fulfillment if I went to a new place. So it was nice to see the different environment and maybe there's a mountain or a beach or whatever, but I was missing a very important part of life, which is the relevant connections with people that I actually could have good conversations with. Also founders or whatever I was looking for at the time. So at the beginning, especially before digital nomading became really a thing and you had all these meetups, yeah, it was quite difficult to meet the right people. It's quite a bit isolating, actually. I sometimes went to, I remember sometimes joining co-working spaces, which was something I did to meet people. But then actually when I was at the co-working space, I wanted to work and I wanted everyone to be quiet and stay away from me. So in reality, that wasn't a very good way to meet people at all. And I've tried many things before I finally figured out how to actually intentionally make connections in a way that's also time effective.
And what advice would you give to people who are starting their digital nomad journey or they're traveling the world? How can they arrive in a city or a new country and build meaningful connections? How can they do it?
Well, if you're a digital nomad, first of all, if you travel really quickly, I would say slow down a little bit. Have a little bit more time in a specific place, 3 months or something, so it actually makes sense to invest in those connections. And also other people find it valuable to invest in the connection, knowing that you're not leaving the next week. And then if you come to a new place, and I can tell this from the perspective of being a founder and those connections, maybe it's different for people who are not a founder, but from the perspective of a founder, I always have some goals of what do I want to reach with my connections and what activities do I want to do. And then, first of all, I post on my social media, like, hey, I'm going to Bali. Who else is here? Which events should I go to for entrepreneurs? What would you recommend? So and that's because I already have a network. I get input and invitations from that. If someone's listening and doesn't have a network at all, these days you can use AI as well to find the publicly available events and communities. And
Right.
that's where you can start. Eventually, you don't want to end up there. You want to find the more curated private events that you need to be invited to. But if you have no connections, nothing at all, I would say start with indexing the public layer of events.
Thank you for that. And how can someone build a community? What is like maybe the very first steps? If I want to build a community, someone that is listening to build their community, what can they do?
Well, you have a brand where you help people reach a certain goal, right? You help them. What do you specifically help them achieve in their business?
So, I'm a business coach. I'm helping coaches monetize. I actually, in fact, I have a very thriving community that is growing, global, and attracting people, right? But I would love to hear from you. What is the steps that you would take if you had to start again from zero?
Yeah, so I'm asking because I wouldn't use my blueprint, to be honest.
Okay, perfect.
I think
I can give you my scenario and let's build it. I think that's super fun. So I help people become more visible, present, and monetize their offers. That's my thing.
And I think that's a good place to start because then you have a common goal for a niche group of people. And those are often the strongest and most lasting communities.
Wow.
Amsterdam Founders Club is more an umbrella, and there's lots of different categories and we have subgroups within it. But if you want a community and you also want it to be a profitable business,
Yes.
then I would start with, okay, I help this persona reach this goal. And that's the main thing that you help people with. And then you build the community around it. It's going to help them to reach their goals. It's going to boost the retention of your business. But the community is then not the main product.
Right. So what you're saying is that if I want to build a thriving community, I should solve a problem for my ideal client. And this attracts more and more of the same type of people. And then you end up having a business and a community in one.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think that's better than a community for the sake of a community.
Why do you say that?
Having a shared goal is something that really brings people together, and also it automatically gives focus to the events that you do and to every decision that you make to run your community. Whereas if you have like a general community of like founders in wherever, it can be a little bit pulled into every single direction based on the millions of opinions that you get. And you don't always know what to say yes to, what to say no to. Whereas if you have a business that helps an ICP reach a certain goal, like it's very easy. Does this help my ICP to reach their goal? Yes or no?
Wow, that's powerful, because what you're saying is that the more specific your community becomes and it has a clear direction, this attracts people that they are aligned. Otherwise, you run the risk of creating just a space that everyone can come. You have volume, but do you have quality?
Right. Yeah. And with what intention do those people come to your community? So if you have a clear goal and you select the people that get access to the event, like you get a much more curated and high quality group of people.
Exactly. That they're willing to invest energy, time, money to be part of that community, right?
Yeah.
And how would you go about really connecting with the people within the community? Because I see in different communities, usually you will have the active members, that they're more present, they're more visible. You will have the people that they're there, but they're not there. And then you will have the people that are like super involved, super hands-on. So how do you make sure that people within the community connect and they are activated?
Yeah, first of all, it's okay that some people are more active and some people are less active. You'll always see that. You'll see that on social media. A lot of people will view but not like. It's always something like this, whether it's in communities or like anywhere else in the world. But to maximize the number of quality connections and the value that people receive from the community, I really like giving the stage to the members in the community. You recently described that you also were at a lot of Nomad events.
Yes.
And many times they'll do unconferences.
Yes.
Where people in the community host small events about their own topic of expertise. And that's how you get a very diverse lineup of activities and everyone feels involved in making the community better and also becomes an ambassador.
Yes, I love what you're describing because activating the members of the community by giving them a role, it's the best way to ensure retention, loyalty, growing within you. And when someone is part of your community, I see that with my coaching clients. When I have my coaching clients who have been working with me, they know the ways that I teach my values and they go ahead and they activate their communities and I go and speak there or I give them space in my community. It's a beautiful thing to see how you co-create.
Yes.
And then you also attract people who are hungry for that opportunity. You said that you're helping with your work, people walk in rooms and attract opportunity. And I see it the same way. And if we reverse engineer it, you know that you're going to attract a person that cares to have that opportunity within your community. So they're going to show up and provide value. And it's a win-win.
Yes. 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 We want the people who genuinely want to provide value to the people around them. You want as many people as possible like that in your community. If you get too many takers or freeloaders, like at some point, the events are not so fun anymore. So
Exactly.
yeah, you need to get the right people in and then also give them the opportunity to create and to be part of it.
And circling back to what you shared about pricing, that's also a great filter because when someone has invested to be in a space, they do not walk in with the mindset that, oh, I'm just going to go in there and only take, right? Yeah. They're consciously part of it. And I'm curious, do you have like any personal stories or travel stories about connections or something that would be really valuable to share?
Well, when I started into a new industry with my previous business, that was more like a tech and online business, I did a lot online at the beginning. So trying to build the connections and everything that was needed to grow the business online. Until for the first time, I went to an event in London for our industry. And that's where I met someone who was like, okay, really cool what you're building. I would love to work with you, but you're a little bit too small yet. So he introduced me to someone in the United States who was able to provide a bunch of leads, like whatever, 1 million leads maybe every month to our business. It was a job search business in job search platform for people looking for jobs. So through this connection in the UK, I got a strategic partnership in the US that helped me to grow my business and eventually helped me to work with that person in the UK as well. So there was like an alignment of interests where he was like, okay, I'm going to help you grow. I'm going to give you that right introduction so I can also grow if you succeed. So I think that's a great example of how powerful aligned interests are.
Totally, because what you're describing is someone first helping you and then asking for value. One of my mentors stresses that enough that says, hey, don't go to someone to connect and ask straight away.
Yes.
Go to someone you want to connect and give first. And then you will see how much more receptive they're going to be, and you're going to be the person that they're going to choose to work, refer a client, and help grow.
Yeah, and you need to be a little bit selective with that, and that's why it's so important to be in the right rooms, because if all you do is give to people who can never help you or your business,
Right.
you're going to run out of resources, time, and energy. So you need to be a little bit strategic in that and look for the people who potentially are able to help you reach your goal, and then find a way to help them reach their goals in a way that helps you reach your goals as well.
So what is your process of filtering people? And so that you're able to say, no, that one I would not collaborate, partner, or invest. And someone that's like, okay, yeah, worth my time, worth my energy, worth my money.
This is why I go to in-person events, because there you really get a sense of how it is to talk with someone. There is probably a gut feeling that you cannot get through a Zoom meeting.
Right.
So this is why I always start at real life experiences. And when I go into a curated event like that, all I do is just have a good time, connect with people, be as valuable as possible. Like if I have a tip or an insight, I share that. And then at the end of the event, or maybe the next day actually, like I go think to myself, okay, what are the people I really felt a connection with? And then usually it requires like a one-on-one conversation to figure out if there is really a win-win opportunity. So what I do is the people I felt the most connection with, and I'm like, okay, potentially this could be interesting based on what I understood. I go for like a lunch or a coffee meeting. I take really the time to understand their goals. And if there is a win-win in there where we can both reach our goals faster if we team up, then I suggest to collaborate.
Powerful, because we see the wave of online economy, content creation, having the online presence, but having that in-person connection can really accelerate the process and lead to deeper connections, right?
Yeah, and it's also very time efficient, even if it feels like, oh, I have to go there and like, well, first of all, like you look at your screen all day, it's not healthy. So it's nice to go out there in the real world. But then also I can speak with 15 people at one event. Whereas a lot of those messages you receive on LinkedIn, like, hey, do you want to meet online to get to know each other? Yeah, those are often like 30 minutes one-on-one conversations with time in between and scheduling inefficiencies. In-person events with a lot of the right people are actually really time efficient.
You're right. They're time efficient and you really get the feeling of the people. And I resonate with that because I'm growing a lot online and I put a lot of content out there. But when they ask me like, oh, where do people find you and how is your business growing? Actually, one of my strengths is that I show up all over the world. Yeah. I go to different conferences. I volunteer. I'm on stage. I do on stage, but behind the scenes as well. And people see me in person. Yeah. And then when they end up in my online world, they see that I do what I do, which is aligned with what they met in real life. And because of my real life energy, some resonate and move forward and working with me or connecting with my brand. So I find it very powerful to be present in person, yes. Especially now that everything can be online. And that's amazing. We can do whatever we want, wherever we want. That's the real freedom. But having this human connection is essential.
Yes. Yes, it sure is. It's essential for mental health as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because now with everything online, a lot of remote activities, traveling people, they do not get to really connect. They do not get to really have conversations. And I see that from the business owner eyes, that sometimes we get so stressed about 1 month or another month and growing this and getting the clients that we forget to just enjoy.
Right.
Go to an event, not just to get clients and to get the visibility, but actually meet people.
Yeah. at the end of your life, like what are the things you're going to remember and going to be proud of? Is that like 2% extra revenue growth in January of 2027? Or is it that really nice experience that you had while traveling and meeting the most amazing people and growing your business at the same time?
Yes, no, the traveling, the meeting the people, they're doing the experience, and the revenue grows as you move forward and you invest in your brand, invest in the connections, but without being attached to a certain outcome. Looking into your path and everything you have done, were there any mistakes that you would like to avoid, or something that you did that taught you something that now you're doing in a different way?
Yeah, do you have a few days? Like, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Haven't we all?
Do you specifically want to know about events and community?
Anything that you feel that is you would like to share?
Yeah. Well, let's start with, I launched a membership for my community very soon after I launched events in Amsterdam. And I would say that was one of the biggest mistakes that I made, because I didn't really have clarity on who the people were that I would ideally want to have in the community. And also my offer and pricing, I just didn't know yet. I just started selling. And the moment that you have people who bought like a yearly membership and they have events included and everything, you're tied to delivering that for a year. And even if that were not a problem, the thing is that the people who you have in the community in the beginning, they attract more of the same people. So next time I would be much, much more intentional about the curation and the offer and the pricing before I launched any recurring revenue model for my community.
Wow, thank you for sharing. I actually started my coaching journey and I launched my community about 3-4 years ago, which I called back then Online Mindset Gym, and I was teaching mindset, and it was more about goal setting. And about a year ago, 9 months, I killed it. I had a very successful 3-year subscription. And then I said, okay, I want something different now. I'm focusing more on entrepreneurs, coaches, not everyone, not just the mindset, but like helping founders build their business. And I killed that. So I find it very powerful that you recognize the mistake and you send something else that I find really valuable. It was offer misalignment, price misalignment as well. And when launching a new offer or product or community or subscription-based model, is very important to create an offer that is powerful.
Yeah.
What is your thought process when you're launching something now?
Well, I stopped doing any memberships. So that the events can come more from a place of contribution and actually doing things that I enjoy without it being an obligation. So now when I feel like it, I host an event, but there is not this obligation tied to a membership that I sold for a longer period of time. And my monetization starts to come more from the B2B and the info products. So more like back-end sales that I make. So I'm not really monetizing the community anymore. This is something that I just provide to founders in Amsterdam and worldwide. Same for the events. Like in Bali, I do some curated mastermind dinners. Like I don't do those to make money, but then I do have a service where founders who have a high ticket offer and they want a high converting in-person event, I can do that from the Amsterdam Founders Club. And that's where I can actually charge a good amount of money and also deliver really good results for that client, because we can really center the whole event around their goal, about their offer. So it's like a B2B offer, and then it's still kind of B2B, but more B2C-ish, like the community and the events. They are not really monetized, but I do have info products. So I have a product about founders who want to build their local network and connections. And I have a product for founders who want to host events that attract and convert clients. And I can sell those products from the in-person events. So that's limited, but I'm building a strong personal brand and I can leverage those assets created at the events to sell those info products all over the world. So it's more like I leverage the in-person events, and the in-person events, they're more for fun.
Leveraging the community and the in-person events in order to create that continuous revenue is the way. By the way, in the box below, I'm going to share all the details about the programs that Marcel mentions, about getting to build your own network and community. So check it out. And if it resonates, connect with it. I am a huge fan of leveraging in-person events to create an amazing community experience. And from there, upsell and funnel people into your world.
Yeah. And you have a high ticket offer, right?
Yes.
So it's perfect for that. You create so much trust and you also cut through the noise. Like you're not another Instagram ad that gets people into a low ticket funnel and then you like whatever. You actually get people in the room and you give them value and a nice experience and connections. So the total of how much they have already received from you is incredible. And then if you have a high ticket offer that solves the right problem, then they're going to say yes, then they're going to invest with you.
I love that what you're sharing reaffirms my mindset around doing certain events. Back in 2023, I was missing in-person connections and I was traveling the world. I was a digital nomad since COVID. So I started my own retreat brand. And in 1 year, I did 4 continents. I did like Costa Rica, Zanzibar, Greece, and Dubai. And within like 3 years that I was running fully, I ran with my business partner. We did more than 8 retreats and 10 events. And I walked into that mindset because I wanted to experience that in person and have fun. And then I deprioritized it because I'm building the online coaching business more and my speaking career. And I just published last year my first book, The Freedom Office. And I thought, okay, it deserves a moment. And I did my book launch event in Amsterdam 2 months ago. And I booked the best venue, which felt super aligned. I invested in a videographer, cinematographer. I wanted the most premium experience for my community. It was seated, and I did not do it to even cover the cost. I had a symbolic ticket, which was still an investment for them to be there, but it would not cover everything that I put there. And my clients and my community asked me, Sophia, are you going to sell something? They were asking me to sell something. And I said, I was not planning to make an offer. I said, no, it's a celebration. Yeah. And then I said, okay, I should be serving my community more. So I put together an irresistible offer and also promoted my last event that I'm going to do in the Netherlands before I move out in May. Almost 70% of the room got it.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's exactly what you're describing. You bring aligned people together. The room is curated because for me, it was members of my community who they trust me and I work already together with. And maybe some brought few people, right? So super aligned. And then you see how there is that purchase power and activation that people don't even feel that they're sold to. Mm-hmm. They want to be part of it.
Yeah, and you're serving them by selling this specific offer, right? Because everyone's in the room with the same goal. So actually,
exactly,
they get a great deal as well.
Exactly. So when was the point that you started learning more about sales and building your offer and getting more experienced in that?
Well, the first time I started really raising my prices for the tickets in Amsterdam, I saw that the organic growth was a bit slower. So that's when I needed to learn how to sell out my events. So the marketing and ticket sales for events I learned because I needed to. Otherwise, we we wouldn't have had a successful community now. So I needed to learn messaging and how to reach the right people. And back-end offers, I learned that when I launched higher ticket offers like retreats, masterminds, like how do you sell from a stage one to many, how do you sell one-on-one, it was also as I needed it, I learned it, some by trial and error and some by just reading about it or like seeing from example from other people selling from stage, for example. And then I would say when it comes to info products, I'm a bit new, so I'm still learning how to do that. I can sell from stage, but to sell online purely, that's new. But I believe it's because it's much easier for me because I have all those credibility and the event assets to actually show like, hey, I'm not just another potentially AI generated guy who's sharing an info product. I actually do these things in person as well. And here is my proof.
Yeah, beautiful. I do share that also in my community and with my clients. You can build the skill in one area, on stage, online, small product, low ticket, high ticket, etc. But it all comes down to building a very strong funnel. And then you can take the same principles from online to in-person and from in-person to online. I do exactly the same thing. The way that I present my offer one-to-many online in my bootcamp, business mastery bootcamp, or the way that I present my offer in person, one-to-many, it's exactly the same. It's just tailored to the audience and the room.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So do you have any tips or like your personal favorites for someone to be successful in selling one-to-many?
Ooh, I'm not the expert on this. I talked to a lot of experts about this topic, and I believe you're an expert in this as well. My friend Simone Vincenzi is also like incredible, and I have an interview with him coming out soon.
I just saw it yesterday.
So
on Instagram.
Yeah. So.
But how do you do it? Because you are successful and you have been building it. So what is your way of making it work?
Basically, I tell a story. So I'm part of the event. And let's say my product is about building a powerful network as a founder. My story would be about which opportunities I had received, like speaking opportunities, business opportunities, investment, through connections that I made. And then the audience can already think, okay, in my situation, that could work as well. Like if only I had this connection, this whatever, then I would actually be at a next level. So I'm sharing a story where a belief is created that something can be improved about their current situation. And then my offer, like, of course, I show also that I'm credible and that I've solved a similar problem. I was in the same situation or worse, and I actually like got the results that they wanted. And then after a story that contains value in itself, regardless if they buy the offer or not, then I present the offer to help them reach that goals and those results easier and faster.
To convert one-to-many from stage, you need a story that is valuable, a story that connects with them, and credibility.
Yeah.
Right? Wow.
Yeah. And the steps, like I show like, okay, these are the steps of my process. And they can either like follow it from what they learned in the talk, or if they want like the templates, they want like easier, they want videos to watch it, then they can purchase the products.
Right. I love that because I truly believe that stories bring the person closer to you.
Yeah.
Information is great. Dropping a thing here and there can increase your authority and credibility, but it's the story and the emotion behind that is going to help you connect with your audience, and they will decide whether you are the one to purchase from.
Yeah. And what I sometimes what I see that works really well and what I've also done is like put a time limit, like give people an incentive to decide now. Like if they decide on the evening of the event to buy, like they get a better deal or something like that. I always feel a little bit uncomfortable, but on the other hand, I see that it boosts results. Like I get more sales, and everyone who buys, they get their result faster. So in a way, it is serving the people.
Yes, yes. Because when you are presented with an option to purchase or not, unless you have that urgency created, chances are that your audience is not going to act, because the emotion is active in the event. When someone has you in front of them, they feel things. Then they go home, back to their normal life, they forget. It has to do with urgency, emotion, but also attention. Because if someone has invested to be in your space, you have their attention in the moment. So you can convert way better.
Yeah. And sometimes when I feel that it's not a fit, like at a dining event, I have printed forms and they can express interest so I can follow up later. Like sometimes when it's not like a masterclass style event or something like that, but yeah, still people could be interested in one of the offers. I make it more subtle. So I have like someone from the team handing out forms, and like they can share feedback about the event, what can be improved, and they can also express interest in future events and other offers.
Fantastic, because I find it very important to present what's out there, asking for permission to share more. And I was also surprised because in one of my very first in-person events in Dubai, I did 1 hour coaching workshop it was more about life coaching and mindset coaching. And I shared a story, exactly what you're describing, and I asked for permission to share more.
Yeah.
And I was amazed that 1 hour brought to my business in total more than 20,000 euros back then.
Yeah.
In like lower ticket subscriptions and upsells later on, which is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's so powerful. And what you point out about asking for permission, it is also so important. And I actually saw my friend Simone Vincenzi do that for the first time ever. When I was in one of his presentations, and he asked like, is it okay if I ask you for some money? Like he's a very funny guy, and that was literally the way that he phrased it. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to ask permission like that, but if the audience feels that the offer is imposed on them, and I've made that mistake because I didn't dare asking for permission for whatever reason. It's uncomfortable at first. But then people tune out, like they get like a protective layer or something like that because you didn't ask for their buy-in.
Yes, Russell Brunson actually talks a lot about that, how that one simple question, is it okay if, can I have your permission to, can increase your sales by more than 30%. It's like, can help you really convert more.
But it's awkward, right? Especially in the beginning.
I feel it too. And the moment that I have prepared the offer, I'm right there in my whiteboard or with my slides, and I'm about to walk into that. I still to today, like I start to like shake. I feel uncomfortable. So it's okay.
How do you ask for permission?
I have a very specific framework, which I'm teaching my community on how to convert. So there is a sequence, and I have this workshop called Get Paid to Speak. So I teach them how to convert for like webinar format or on stage. First, after you have established the connection, you have shared the value, you have shared the story, then I directly say, would it be okay to share how it looks like? Would it be okay to share how it works? Just that simple question. I don't even invest that much time. It's just 20 seconds.
Yeah. And probably not all of the audience members engage, right? But a few will not.
Yes. Yes. And even if they do not respond out loud, psychologically, if you have been asked for permission, you feel more safe.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come so abrupt.
Yeah.
You expect it. Many offers do not convert, or sales, you cannot close the sale because people do not expect it.
Yeah.
And this is the moment that a person feels they're being sold. But if a person is invited or welcomed to your world and how you can help them, then they're more receptive to listen.
Yeah. And you can also pre-frame it before the event even starts. Like it can be even in the invitation email. Like we have this event and at the end there will be an invitation to do this or this. Totally optional. If not a fit, no worries at all.
Beautiful.
But, yeah, there's multiple touch points that you can do that aside from the start of the pitch.
Yes, I love that. And I also call it pre-seeding.
Yeah.
Because even at the beginning of the event, you can say, hey, but at the end of this event, it's the webinar style. At the end of this event, I'm going to share details about the next steps. If it resonates, take the step in the event. You will win. If not, that's totally fine. Enjoy.
Yeah. And this takes a little bit of discipline to keep doing this because we forget. You're like, oh, everyone knows, or like sometimes a little bit rusty. You're like, yeah, of course there is an offer, but you need to inform the new, you need to keep doing this. You need to keep asking for the permission and preceding it, as you called
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes. And feel good about putting your work out there, because imagine you would not dare to promote one of your events. You would not dare to start. You would just take away the opportunity from so many people to connect. We wouldn't be here right now if you wouldn't have put your community out there and yourself out there, right?
Yeah. If you have an offer or a service where you genuinely feel like you help people, it's almost a moral obligation to sell it.
It's a moral obligation to sell it. I love that because it's part of the impact. Otherwise, you become selfish by keeping that knowledge just for you.
Yeah, and not helping other people take the step that they need to get a much better life or faster growing business.
Yeah, exactly. So how do the next few months look for you? What are your plans? Anything cool coming up that you would like our audience to know about?
Well, we're recording this in Bali now.
Yes.
In 1 month, I'm flying back to Europe. I'll be hosting events in Amsterdam. So these are the events around a certain speaker or topic, as I described. So events for founders, but they have a specific topic, like getting clients with public speaking or like specific themes.
Yes.
And I might do some events for fun as well, like some founders dinners, we'll see. I'm speaking at the Bansko Nomad Fest, which is a nice mountain town, so I look forward.
It's one of the biggest ones, by the way. Bansko Nomad Fest is considered in the digital nomad community one of the biggest nomad conferences.
I think it's the biggest, right? Yeah, like 1,000 people there. So,
yes.
But it's a very big ski town, so it doesn't feel crowded, and it's compared to...
Bansko is beautiful. I've been, because I'm originally from Greece, so we used to take ski trips there.
Oh.
Bansko is gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's got this nice, fresh, cool mountain air.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that. And I also want to check out Barcelona as a potential new home base. So I've been away for 9 months. I've been traveling now. So I want to also, in the Netherlands, spend time with friends and family again.
Beautiful.
So it's nice to come home again.
Wow. And where people can find you? How can someone connect with you?
So the Amsterdam Founders Club, it's just amsterdamfoundersclub.com. And then for my socials, we can probably put it in the show notes.
Beautiful. And is there any message that you would like to give to our audience? Any last tips from you?
Well, building a business, maybe especially once you build a business while traveling, I mean, it's difficult. Like you get like challenges and ups, but also a lot of downs that can last for a long time. So what really helped me is to set specific goals that I want to reach both in my business and in my personal life, and then connect those to daily habits. And then focus on the daily habits, because every day, even if it's like 2 weeks of every day sucks and like business isn't working and this is not working out, I know that I'm focusing on the actions that if I do them consistently for long enough will help me to reach my goals.
Wow, that's so powerful. I truly believe that habits create you, who you are. And if you want to become a high value founder worth connecting, you better invest in these small daily actions that help you be your best. What is something most people get wrong about building a business online?
Well, the thing that most founders get wrong about building an online business is that they also have to build their connections online. Actually, what I see that the most successful online founders do, who make really a lot of money and have really a lot of success with their online business, they double down on in-person connections. So they really invest time in going to in-person events and being part of the right curated communities. It's both important, I think, for your sanity, that if you build an online business, that you have an in-person element to it as well. So you don't also do your connections and meetings on Zoom, but you actually do that in real life. But then also the return on spending time in those communities where you can actually connect with founders who might actually give you just a simple insight that will actually scale your business much faster. You get those really from in-person events. Those are not always shared online, but at a dinner table, we really open up and help each other.
Being in person helps you accelerate way faster and helps you build greater authority and credibility because you are seen as the human and the leader behind the channel, behind the Instagram account, behind LinkedIn. So you are the real person, and another real founder gives you that value.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so if you build an online business, really prioritize meeting in person with the right people in the right communities at the right events.
How can I make sure that I get invited in high value networks and events?
So the reason those networks stay high value is that not everyone can just go online, sign up and show up. It's about the curation and the process of filtering the people who come to the events. So if you start really from zero, you have no connections, you know nothing, no social media you start from zero, what I would do is search online for whatever you can find that is publicly available. So any events for founders, entrepreneurs, industry events, like whatever you can find online, I would start there. And you can use AI these days to really quickly map an ecosystem. So that's where I would start, the publicly available events. And those events are your entry point to get invited to better events. What I usually do before I go to a public event, I actually message the organizer. I just say, thank you for putting together this event. Nothing else. I don't ask a question or anything. I don't ask for time, but I just say thank you. And then usually that already helps to create that connection before I arrive at the event. And then at the event, there's an overlap of people who go both to some public events, but also are in those private high quality circles. So I always ask hey, which other events do you go to? What should I know about? And I also ask that to the community builders who knows everyone and everything in the town. And that's how I get to know all of those events that you need to get invited to.
Powerful. My personal strategy for connecting and being invited in high value spaces is connecting with the organizer, as you mentioned, appreciating the team, and also making sure that I stand out. Standing out not with a crazy way, but in a way that my presence is recognized there. So even the people from the organization, they would be curious to get to know who is the person that joined their event. I love your tip about starting from zero and not being afraid to just show up in an event and experiment, do your curation beforehand, your research, say hi and thank you to the people who organize, and see who is the right person in the event for you to connect further.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. And when I wanted to build my network in Austin, Texas, I started with finding the public events and the organizers behind them because I didn't know yet about where those private rooms were.
Beautiful. Putting yourself out there is the first step, and also trusting that these events will be fun and will give you something back. So all your investment comes back to you.
Oh yeah, and that affects how you show up, because people are only going to invite you to something if they enjoy hanging out with you and they feel that they receive value from hanging out with you. So if you're at the event, you kind of need to let go of that goal of being invited to other events. You just need to be present and really connect with the people and have fun, right? And the goal will be in the back of your mind, and it can be a conversation starter, like, hey, what are the best events in town, or what other events do you go to? It's a way better question than all those boilerplate questions like, what do you do and whatever. So it's a good conversation starter anyway, but you shouldn't be tied to the outcome. You should be at an event to just have fun and provide value to the people there.
Yes, I love that. And asking for what you're looking for. If you're new to town or if you're looking for a specific community, say, hey, do you know any other places that I could network, connect, or find the ideal client or the right partnership in there?
Exactly. One other thing that comes to mind to actually make more connections when you're at a public event, it's sometimes you can get stuck in a conversation, right? And it takes too long, and then you only met 2 people instead of like 10 people. Whereas you go to a public event to actually meet a lot of people, and then you select later. So what's always really helpful, if you meet 2 different people who would be valuable to be introduced to each other, to actually introduce them during the event. So to just go over and kind of act a little bit as the organizer or host already, but you're doing something useful, and this allows you to both give value, but then also it makes you much more free to move around, because if you're stuck in a one-on-one conversation, sometimes people have difficulties leaving that conversation. Whereas if you make the environment more dynamic, people come and go in your conversation, you introduce people, you get to meet half the room.
From a psychologist standpoint, when you introduce someone of value to someone else, that person associates the value with you as well. Yeah. So a great way to be perceived as high value and high authority is introducing someone to another person.
Yeah. Yeah, and the in-person event's the perfect way to do that. If you do it online, it's like a pain in the ass, because you need to ask both people for permission, and then you need to frame it.
There is a lot of coordination. A lot of coordination.
And it's not fun. It's like, but if you do it at an in-person event, it is actually part of your experience. It's really nice.
It is very often a struggle that people go into an event and they get into a conversation, and by the end of the event, they had just only given free value, gave a free session, and they never met anyone. So having this quick chat and introducing people like you're sharing sounds very powerful.
Yeah. And be comfortable also saying, if there is no opportunity, to introduce them to someone else, but to end the conversation, to say, hey, I'm going to get a drink, or I'm going to talk to some more people. Like, it's fine. People are there to make multiple connections during one evening.
Yes, exactly. A bit of the Dutch direct way, which I love. Yeah. I stop conversations and say like, hey, I'm going to grab some water, or I'm going to go network a little bit more. I think that's totally fine. And people are going to networking events to make new connections, exchange contacts. Also very important, making sure that you share details and contacts before the event, like during the event and also after the event.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of things happen these days on Instagram or LinkedIn. So I would do the connection, but also send a message, because otherwise you lose it. And I usually make a note so I can have the list of people and choose who I follow up with the next day.
Yes. Really powerful, the follow-ups, especially if you're building a business or if you consider some connections leads. It's very, very important to follow up.
Right. Yeah. While the leads, as you mentioned, them are warm. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lead can be a new friendship, right? It sounds a bit sterile when we call it leads, but like every interesting person that you genuinely enjoy hanging out with is in a way a lead that you can follow up.
I love how you frame it, because we have leads associated just with sales, while actually it can lead into a beautiful experience, a beautiful partnership, a beautiful friendship, and why not a new client?
Yes.
Beautiful. Marcel, thank you so much for all your insights. I'm going to be looking forward to your next events, and everyone keep an eye at Amsterdam Founders Club and all the events that are happening all over the world that Marcel puts together. And I want to thank you for being here with us today, working towards your freedom and your goals. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you.